This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Very, very glorious topic to be speaking on. So I would like to thank Prabhu and Mataji for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, Mataji, I'm not presenting it now. It's only a story in the beginning. So I will start sharing the screen when it is required, as I had mentioned earlier. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Okay. So I think you would have all yesterday heard the story of King Prithu Maharaj, who was the incarnation of the Lord himself. And we are beginning today with the 24th chapter of the 4th canto, where we are looking at Vijitashwa. That's the beginning of this canto and chapter, who's the eldest son of King Prithu. He was a wonderful person, and as he is the son of the Lord himself, he had great qualities. So after King Prithu decided to leave, and how beautifully King Prithu and Archi, they reached the Vaikuntha Lokas to serve Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi as husband and wife. You would have heard all of those beautiful pastimes of the Lord yesterday. So after they left, Vijitashwa, who is the son of King Prithu, eldest son, he is appointed as the king of the world. And as he is ruling, he had 4 younger brothers, and he gives the governing of different directions to his younger brothers. And he was also a very affectionate person. And so he is also called Antardhana, one who can appear and disappear as he at will. How did he get this blessing? Because when King Prithu was trying to perform his sacrifice, we would have seen that Indra again and again comes, and at the 100th sacrifice, he would keep stealing the horse. So Vijitashwa, although he could see Indra, who couldn't be seen by anyone else, Vijitashwa could see him, but because he respected him as a great personality, as king of heaven, he did not want to punish him. Just for this one quality, Indra really appreciated him, and he gave the boon that the demigods had, which is they can appear and disappear at will. He gave that boon to Vijitashva, so he was called Antardhana. So this Antardhana, who is also Vijitashva, married Shikandini, and they gave birth to 4 sons, out of which the 4th was Havirdhana. So Havirdhana marries Havardhani, and she begets 6 sons, out of which the first son is Barhishat. Now this Barhishat is also called Prachina Barhi because he was an expert in performing various kinds of fruitive sacrifices, a lot of yagya, and he was also very good with mystic yoga system. So he became posted as one of the Prajapatis. Prajapatis meaning progenitors who procreate to expand the population of the world. So they are called Prajapatis. So because of his wonderful nature of having to do fruitive sacrifices, and he was also good with mystic yoga, he was appointed as Prajapati as well by Lord Brahma. So later, after my class, when Nandakumar Prabhu will be dealing with the Puranjana story, you will also see how the same Prachina Barhi gave up all these sacrifices and took up to Sankirtana Yagya, because Narada Muni comes and tells him how it is important that he does Sankirtana Yagya more than any other Yagya. So this Prachina Barhi married the daughter of the ocean called Shatadruti, who was an incredibly beautiful, young, exquisitely beautiful and young girl. So from Prachina Barhi and Shatadruti were born 10 sons, and they all together came to be known as Prachetas. And this was in Satya Yoga, this whole story. And when the father ordered, that is Prachina Barhi, ordered the sons Prachetas to marry and beget children, because he was a Prajapati, so his major duty is to beget children and expand the population of the world. When he ordered it to their to Prachetas, they immediately left home to engage in performing austerities for 10,000 years. So we must be wondering, why are they doing this? Father asked him to get married and have children. Why are they running away from it? They are not running away. In fact, they are getting ready to have performed a proper brahmacharya routine. And once they are completely placed in that kind of mind, then they are ready to procreate the right progeny for the world. For this reason, the Prachetas leave the home and they go on to perform 10,000 year austerity. And as they were traveling, they came to a great, huge lake which looked very calm, as if it was the mind of a great soul. And even the aquatics inside that lake, they were very calm and quiet. The sharks and the little fishes, everybody was friendly. There was no one who had, they couldn't see any enmity between any of the aquatics. And there were no waves. Everything was just quiet and calm. And then there were also beautiful lotus flowers which grew in that water, in the shore. And they could see a lot of swans, beautiful chakravakas, and many other water birds. They also saw flowering trees which bordered the lake and the humming of those maddened bumblebees. Are you able to imagine that beautiful space that they are in, right? A calm ocean where there is a lot of swans. We are not able to understand what chakravakas and karandavas look like. But they say that they are beautiful water birds. And there are lotuses of different colors, and there are trees in the shores, and all of that. And there is bumblebees which are roaming around all these beautiful flowers. And as they were appreciating this heavenly atmosphere, they suddenly heard various drums and kettle drums and all other musical instruments which were playing. And as they were noticing exactly at that place, they suddenly saw Lord Shiva emerging from the water. And that's when they realized that because Lord Shiva was meditating peacefully inside that ocean, the whole ocean was calm, and all the aquatics were very calm and peaceful and friendly with each other. So, just the presence of Lord Shiva, many times people think because he is the Adhipati of the mode of ignorance, or he is the controller of mode of ignorance, many people think, unfortunately, that he is in the mode of ignorance. But here we understand that Lord Shiva, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, he, of all the Vaishnavas, if someone has to know how a Vaishnava should be, one should learn from Lord Shiva. So here we are glorifying that great, great Vaishnava this evening, and he is going to teach us how to perform devotional service towards the Supreme Lord. In what mode, thinking of what, understanding what about the Lord, right? So just like how Bhagavad Gita, by the mercy of Arjuna, asking all those questions to Lord Krishna, we have received instructions from the Lord how to live in this world and leave from this world. Exactly like that, in a way of instructing the Prachetas, Lord Shiva has beautifully given all of us these wonderful stotras in the name of Rudra Gita, which we are going to see in just some time. So then, as this was going on, the Prachetas see Lord Shiva and they were completely pleased to see him emerge out of the water along with his associates. And there were numerous musicians who were engaged in glorifying Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva's bodily luster was like molten gold. We say Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, right? We talk about when we glorify Srimati Radharani, we talk about her body being like molten gold. This particular verse is explaining that Lord Shiva's body was lustrous like molten gold. And although his throat was bluish, and he had 3 eyes that mercifully looked upon his devotees, glad his devotees. Upon seeing Lord Shiva before them, they were astonished, and they offered their obeisances at the lotus feet of the Lord. So as this was going on, I hope you know already that this is a samvada or the talk discussion that is going on between Maitreya Muni and Vidura, right? So Vidura is asking this question to Maitreya Muni, how is it possible that for Prachetas to see Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is not so easily visible to people of this world, how did this great fortune come upon them? How did this happen that they could see Lord Shiva? So at that time, Maitreya Muni is sorry, just a moment, is glorifying, and he's talking about Lord Shiva and how they got to see. So now Vidura is asking, O best of the Brahmanas, it is very difficult for living entities encaged within this material body to have personal contact with Lord Shiva. Even great sages who have no material attachments do not contact him despite their always being absorbed in meditation. So in the purport to the next two shlokas, Lord Shiva's glories is beautifully explained as to how if the Lord Shiva appears only when Lord Krishna desires or when the Lord orders, right? So when there is a beautiful shloka from Padma Purana which Lord Shiva is quoting to Parvati Devi, saying Maya Vada Mashat Shastram Prachannam Bauddham Uchyate Mayaiva Vihitam Devi Kalau Brahmana Murtina. So he tells Parvati Devi that I appear in Kali Yuga in the form of a Brahmana, where I am going to be talking Mayavadam Asat Shastram, right? Prachannam. Why am I going to talk about it? Prachannam Bauddham Uchyate. Against, so that the Bauddha philosophy, the Buddha philosophy is destroyed. So for that reason, I will appear in the Kali Yuga as a Brahmana, and that Brahmana is Sripad Shankaracharya. And although he begins to talk Mayavada in the beginning, after that um, end of his lifetime, before he goes back to his original abode, he talks about Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Mudamate, thrice. We always know Prabhupada says that something insisted thrice is extremely important. And here he insisted that forget about all that I taught you entire lifetime, but just Bhaja Govindam. Just chant the glories of the Supreme Lord. Just talk about Govinda. Just chant Govinda. That's all. Nothing else is important. Right? And also he's saying he's glorifying Lord Shiva to be the most powerful demigod, second only to Vishnu. So a lot of beautiful, my request to all of you is that apart from 33 to 70, which is Rudra Gita in itself, since because of the paucity of time, I'm having to rush towards Rudra Geetham directly. But verses 17 and 18 are extremely important as Vaishnavas for all of us to understand the glory of Lord Shiva. So my request to all of you is kindly go and read 18th verse is extremely important, which talks about of Lord Shiva, how he is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, how he is also a Mahajana, Swayambhu Narada Shambhu, right? Out of one of so many Mahajanas. And his strength, his energy, he is married to Parvati Devi, who's Maya Shakti, who's Durga, who's Kali, who's controlling all of this Prakriti. She's Prakriti and she's extremely powerful. That's what Krishna says, right? In Bhagavad Gita. Daivi Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. She's dangerous, she's very powerful. And Lord Shiva controls Shakti. Sometimes he has to controlling directly, sometimes he has to control by pleasing her. So all of this is so beautifully explained by Srila Prabhupada in as to what is Lord Shiva's duty, how he's connected to Lord Vishnu, how he's connected to Durga, Kali, Prakriti. All of that is very beautifully given. Please don't miss to read it. And he is also in charge of the mode of good ignorance in this material world. That's another point to be seen. So now all of this is explained and then we move on. So Maitreya Muni explains as to how and what Lord Shiva spoke to the Prachetas going ahead. So Lord Shiva, looking at these wonderful princes, He's very pleased. He understands why they are there, so he wishes them good fortune for being there. And he says, since you are devotees of the Supreme Lord, he says, you are very dear to me, and I have appeared here. He says that to him. I have appeared here just like how we see in Dhruva Charitra, Narada Muni appears just before Dhruva goes for chanting the Lord and pleasing the Lord. So it is always important that a guru is present for someone to achieve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here we are seeing Lord Shiva's mercy upon the Prachetas, right? So he's being merciful. He appears there and he says, I am going to give you this particular prayer. Just meditate on this prayer. Just keep chanting these prayers for the next 10,000 years and you will please the Supreme Lord. So he says, please carefully listen to this mantra that I'm going to chant, because this is the best prayer for anyone who aspires to attain the goal of life, which is going back home, back to Godhead. Lord Shiva says this precisely, right? He says this exactly. So it is important for those who are following the Brahma Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So it is for all of us who are really wishing to connect with Krishna, to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's extremely important. So we're moving into the Rudra Gita, and we're going to see what are the different mantras that Lord Shiva is using to glorify Lord Krishna. So what I have done is, this is almost 37 verses or something. So I have divided these 37 verses into 4 parts. The first part we are going to see is, initially, whenever any demigod starts glorifying, wants to ask the Lord for something or wants to meet the Lord, the first thing they do is they start by glorifying the Lord and his potencies, right? So that's what the first few shlokas are, at least up to 10 shlokas that Lord Shiva is chanting. These are all glories of the Lord and how he is present in his supreme abode. And also as the creator. Yeah, so first we are going to see glories of the Lord. So here he is glorifying the Lord by saying, oh, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, O Supreme Lord. You're the most exalted, all auspicious, you're worshipable, and you're Paramatma, Super Soul. You're the origin of the creation, the supreme controller of the senses and sense objects, right? Krishna is Rishikesha. All-pervading Vasudeva, most peaceful and not disturbed by 6 kinds of transformation, which is birth, growth, dwindling, and giving birth, that is reproduction. So the 6 transformations that a normal body would go through, that does not disturb the Supreme Lord. And he is also the origin of the subtle material ingredients, also the master of all integration and all disintegration, predominating deity Sankarshana, master of intelligence Pradyumna. So in the next 2 verses, Krishna is being glorified in his 4 forms, which is Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Let me share my screen now so that you can all see, because I'm not reading out everything that is present there. So if you would like to read through what is there, you're most welcome. So the Supreme Lord is the origin of the subtle. So sometimes it is very confusing when we read these big words. Master of integration and disintegration. What is that? Why is he called Sankarshana that way? So what happens is, the Lord in his form expands to maintain, to create, maintain, and destroy the material universe, the material Mahatattva, right? Which is 1/4 of the entire creation of the Lord. 3/4 is the spiritual world and 1/4 is the material world. So when the Lord comes to create things, create and expand into the Mahat Tattva, the Lord expands first into the 4 forms: Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Sankarshana. And who takes care of what is explained here. So Pradyumna is in charge of disintegration and integration, which means basically to integrate all the necessary subtle and gross material elements, which is Bhumi, Apaha, Anal, Vayu. So the details are given here. The gross material elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and subtle elements like mind, intelligence, and false ego. All of them are controlled by the Lord as Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So in this, the major bringing all these ingredients together to integrate them, and finally, when everything is over, to disintegrate them. Both of this is the job of Pradyumna, which is the feature of the Lord. And the next shloka, the Lord is glorified as Aniruddha. Aniruddha, who's also the director of the mind. So we always say, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. When we read Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is saying, think of me in your mind, become my devotee. Then mind is one major factor for all of us. When we are chanting, the mind is always disturbed. So the request is that we just have to pray to Aniruddha, who is the feature of the Lord, who's an expansion of the Lord, and he controls the mind. So here Lord Shiva is glorifying by saying, you are present as Aniruddha, who's controlling the mind and the senses. Not only that, you're also as Sankarshana because of your ability to destroy the whole creation by the blazing fire from your mouth. So here we are seeing what is wonderful here is that many times people come and ask us, you are Hare Krishnas, so because you're Hare Krishnas, you always say Krishna is the supreme. Where is the proof to say for sure that Krishna is the supreme? All that we have to do is just by heart this Rudra Gita and go and explain it to them how Lord Shiva is speaking about Lord Krishna being the creator, maintainer, and destroyer. Right? Many times they say that Lord Shiva is the destroyer. Of course, there are different kinds of dissolutions. Smallest dissolution is when the Chatur Yugas are over. And then there is the day of Brahma getting over, then there is one more dissolution. And when the entire Pralaya happens and the entire Mahat Tattva is inside, completely floating with the inside the body of the Lord, that's another dissolution. Correct? So in all these ways, the Lord is overseer in some, and the Lord is he activates some of them. Like here we are seeing Sankarshana being the destroyer, from whose mouth there's a blazing fire which comes and destroys the entire creation. Moving on, he's glorifying, going ahead saying, O Lord, you're the authority by which the doors of higher planetary systems, liberation are opened. So we also understand that there is no one else in this world who can give us mukti. Krishna is called Mukunda specifically because of the glory, because of his speciality of the Mukti Data, right? He is the only person who can award with Mukti. He is the provider of Pitralokas, and he's also the maintainer of the 3 worlds. He expands his transcendental vibrations, and he is the viewer of the results of activities. That is, he is also taking care of all the karmas, and he is looking over a religion, and that he creates the law of karma and he maintains it with his wonderful Mahajanas who are present there. Like we see Swambhu, Narada, Shambhu. So Shambhu is saying that by keeping all of us as 12 Mahajanas, apart from us, there are so many others who are working for the Lord, and with all of us together, he creates the law of karma and he manages this entire universe. He is also the supreme controller of the worker, sense activities and results of sense activities, karma, controller of body, mind, and senses. And if someone does not worship the Lord, his entire life is spoiled. So now Lord Shiva is going ahead and telling the Prachetas that if it is very clear that only by devotional service can anyone survive here and beyond. So he's saying, because of this, my own father unhesitatingly worships the Supreme Lord. And because he does it, all the 14 Manus who appear in one day of Brahma, they also worship the Supreme Lord. And all learned persons that the Lord know that the Lord is the Supreme, and the entire universe is afraid of Lord Rudra, who ultimately annihilates everything. For the learned devotees, they are fearless of Rudra. Because for a devotee, whether he is here or he is anywhere else, he understands that he is only going to serve the Supreme Lord. So for them, there is no fear of Lord Shiva as death, right? We see in Dhruva Maharaj Charitra that Mrityu comes and says, as you're a devotee of the Lord, I cannot touch you, but you have to let go of this material body of yours. So kindly keep your feet on my head and then climb on the chariot. So that's how a devotee of the Lord is. And then they go ahead, Lord Shiva goes ahead. Now this is the second portion where he is glorifying the beauty of the Lord. So he says, your beauty resembles a dark cloud during the rainy season. And he says, so the Lord's body is dark, and as the rainfall glistens, his bodily features also are glistening. And he's the sum total of all beauties. That's why he's called Krishna, Akarshayati iti Krishna, right? He's all attractive. And he's going ahead and explaining that Krishna has 4 arms and an exquisitely beautiful face with eyes like lotus petals, a beautiful high-raised nose, a mind-attracting smile, and beautiful forehead. The Lord is excellently beautiful on account of his open and merciful smile. And he's explaining how he has a curly hair and his garments waving in the wind. A wind appear like flying saffron pollen from lotus flowers. As the Lord's upper ear is flowing, it looks like saffron pollen are flying from lotuses. And then he glorifies the shoulders of the Lord, which looks like a lion. And upon these shoulders are garlands. The Lord is called Vanamali because he wears the beautiful flowers which are handpicked by Srimati Radharani and the other gopis from the forest of Vrindavana and then made into garland. So he glorifies that Vanamala, and he glorifies the Kaustubhamani and Srivatsa in his chest and his abdomen, from which there are 3 ripples, and these ripples they resemble leaf of a banyan tree. And they coil within the navel, and they're saying from this navel is where Lord Brahma arises when creation has to start. And then when everything is done, he moves back and recoils inside that beautiful navel of yours. And then he is glorifying the lower waist of the Lord and the lotus feet of the Lord, which is so beautiful that they appear like 2 blossoming petals of the lotus flower. And he's finally finishing the beauty of the Lord by saying those who desire to purify their existence must always engage in meditation upon the lotus feet. So it is extremely important. That's why we say whenever we go to a temple and we are looking at the Lord, we should start looking at the Lord from his lotus feet and then move up to the face of the Lord. So those who are serious about executing their occupational duties and who want freedom from fear must take this process of Bhakti Yoga. And he also says that Krishna is this ultimate destination of those who identify themselves with Brahman. Moving on, now Lord Shiva, first he talked about all the glories of the Lord. Then he spoke about the beauty of the Lord. Now he's glorifying the devotees of the Lord. So we have heard this beautiful shloka which says, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchitam. So Parvati is asking, what is the best worship according to you? When Parvati Devi asks this question, Lord Shiva is saying, Aradhananam Sarvesham, of all the worship, Lord Vishnu's worship is the best. And beyond that is the worship of his devotees, because the devotees of the Lord are much more merciful than the Lord himself. So he is reiterating the same point in the next set of verses. He says, although time is invincible and he takes and it takes everybody, right? Mrityu sarvaharaschaham, he comes as time and he takes away everything. But that time factor does not scare or threaten a devotee, right? So such is the glory of your devotee. So now he's glorifying the devotee, and he's saying, if by any chance one associates with a devotee, even just for a fraction of a moment, right, he no longer is subject to attraction of results of karma or jnana. So this is the shloka which is extremely important. Exactly the same shloka with one word difference is given in 1:18:13, Tulayama Lavenapi. So the request is, please go back and read that verse also. Otherwise, generally shlokas are not repeated in Bhagavatam or Gita, but there are some verses which are extremely important, so they are repeated. So this is one of the shlokas which is a repeat. The entire verse, the second, third, fourth sentences are exactly the same, other than the little change in the first sentence. So this shows how important is the association of devotees. So if by he's talking about what is the reason that one should be really close to a devotee. What is the speciality of a devotee? So then he is glorifying that the lotus feet of the Lord are the cause of all auspicious things. And what do the devotees do? They are always stuck to the lotus feet of the Lord by glorifying him and by chanting his names. And heart of the devotee has been completely cleansed by the devotional service, and he is favored by Bhakti Devi. Right? He's not attracted by the external energy. His focus is completely on Krishna. So it makes it easier for one to connect. When one connects with the devotee, it is easy for that person to connect with the Supreme Lord. And there is a beautiful shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kataha tad joshanad ashvapavargavartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. So satam prasangam, sat means devotees. Prasang, only in the sangha of devotees can one purely glorify the Supreme Lord. And when that happens, then Shraddha, Rati, and then Bhakti comes automatically in exactly this order. Shraddha is Komal Shraddha, then there comes Rati, right? After Asakti, there is Rati, and then ultimately Prema Bhava, Bhava Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. Ultimately, one achieves Prema Bhakti just by being in the presence of devotees, because devotees are always holding on to the lotus feet of the Lord, and they are glorifying the Lord, they are chanting the names of the Lord, they are pure at heart. So Tulayama Lavenapi, just that momentary association also with those great devotees, just like how now Prachetas, by being in association just with that little moment with Lord Shiva, are going to achieve ultimate goal. Just by that little association that Dhruva had with Narada Muni, he achieved that ultimate goal. Just by that little association, now that you're going to see Prachina Barhi with Narada is going to achieve that ultimate goal. That Tolayama Lavenapi, that little association with the pure devotees of the Lord, 100% gives ultimate liberation. Mahaprabhu also says that Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Kahe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hai. And then it moves on to talk about the Lord as the creator, maintainer, and destroyer. So Lord Shiva is explaining how Krishna is the supreme, the impersonal Brahman. That is, we see in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna says Brahmano hi pratishtaham, right? That the Brahman effulgence is the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Lord. And he also has manifold energies, like we talk about the internal energy, marginal energy, and external energy of the Lord. Maya Shakti, where we are all present right now, is the external energy of the Lord. We are the marginal potencies who are spirit by nature, but covered by the material elements. Material, gross and subtle elements. So we can choose to fall either inside the internal energy, take mercy of Radharani, or fall into the material energy, external energy, and take shelter of the Prakriti, which is also the energy of the Lord. So Lord Shiva is talking about how the Lord is the cause for all the formation of whether it is internal, marginal, or external energies. And within the marginal energy, there are Nitya Muktas and Nitya Bandhas as well. And the Lord also, in his universal form, like many people these days, they talk about how they don't believe in God, they don't believe in light, they don't believe in taking names of the Lord, but they talk about connecting with the universe. They say, oh, just think of it positively, and the universe is listening to you. So even if they connect to the universe, that also, again, is the Virat Rupa of the Lord that they are connecting to. So ultimately, wherever we want to go, we are still, one is a Mayavadi saying there is no form of the Lord. One is a Bhakta who is connecting to the Lord himself. And one who is only wanting to connect to the universal form of the Lord, wherever they are, they still are connected with the Lord. But the Lord clearly says that me in my original form is the best to connect to. That's the simplest and that's the quickest, especially in this Kali Yuga. Time is small, and within that, we are very disturbed. We are not so intelligent. So the best thing is connect to the Supreme Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Mayavadi Krishnera Paradi, because they deny the form of the Lord. They are just not attached to that formless, but they deny a form to the Lord, which the Lord himself says, which is present. Right? So for all these reasons, Lord Shiva is saying, you're there as all these senses and everything that is there present in the universe. And besides that, you're also being merciful to be inside each one of these living entities as Paramatma. And then the Lord as the Supreme Person, we see in Brahma Samhita also, Lord Brahma is confirming that Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. So the Lord is the cause of all causes, and he is also the controller of the three modes, the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And Lord, after creating by his own potencies, so he initially creates all of this for, as Karanodakashayi Vishnu. He creates the different Brahmandas, and from each skin pore. And once the Brahmandas are created, he enters into each one of those universes as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And from his Garbha, he's called Garbhodakashayi because from his Garbha, from his navel comes Lord Brahma. And then Lord Brahma gets the knowledge, intelligence to create further. And as he starts creating the living beings, the Lord enters into each one of us as Paramatma, which is the Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. Right? So he's saying that you create everything because the living entities want to enjoy without you. So you create a place for them and you don't just drop them there and not care about them. You're so merciful that after creating also, you go there and stay with each one of them. And here he talks about how there are Chaturvidham. There are 4 types of birth that happens, which was very interesting to read. So one is born from an embryo, Jarayuja, one which is born from eggs, Andaja, and some by perspiration, that is sweat, which is Swedaja, and some like trees, which comes from seeds, Udbija. And finally, he says that Lord's absolute authority cannot be directly experienced, but one can guess by seeing the activities. Force of time is very strong and everything is being destroyed. Time scatters. So basically now he's saying that creation has happened. We all entered. We are existing. The Lord is still within us, guiding us as Chaitya Guru, as Paramatma. He sends Guru outside externally as Siksha Gurus and Diksha Gurus. He gives us wonderful scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Although we want to come here and live here, the Lord comes with us guides us so that we can go back home, back to Godhead. So he says that so overall, to conclude the entire Rudra Gita, Lord Shiva is first glorifying the Supreme Lord, and then he is talking about the beauty of the Lord so that our mind completely focuses on that beauty when it is chanting, when it wants to connect with the Lord. And then he's glorifying how much more easier it becomes for someone who wants to go back home, back to Godhead. He's saying just connect with the devotee of the Lord, nothing more. They will push you in and they will push you out. Prabhupada says our movement is a pushing movement. So we just have to stand with the devotees, and the devotees will keep pushing us in and out again. And finally, he concludes by glorifying how the Lord, as the creator, maintainer, and destroyer, takes care of us completely throughout by his different energies. So once he finishes this entire Rudra Geetham, Lord Shiva is requesting Prachetas to say, my dear sons of king, just execute your occupational duty as kings with a pure heart. And he's saying, just chant this prayer, fixing your mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is pramana enough for anyone who's questioning, what is the proof that Supreme Personality is Krishna? Here is the proof. Lord Shiva is saying, just chant this prayer, fixing your mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. This will bring you all good fortune, for the Lord will be very much pleased with you. And the prayers offered by Lord Shiva are very authoritative and significant, because he, being the supreme controller, supreme authority of all the Vaishnavas, we understand that he is our authority. And when we just connect with Lord Shiva and his words, it is going to be simpler to go back home. Further, he gives instructions to all of us. Now, this beautiful shloka, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also recommending exactly this process. This is one of Prabhupada's favorite verses. Gyane prayasa mudapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiya vartam sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuvan manogar ye prayasho ajita jito api asi apyasi tai trilokyam. So he says, one may remain situated in his own place. If we are going to question, should I do my dharma? Should I become devoted? We can do both together. Just stay in the dharma, whatever is given to us as a wife or as a mother or as a husband. We can just sane sthita, we can stay in our place and we can still perform devotional service towards the Supreme Lord. So he's saying one may remain situated in his own place or in his own occupational duty and still lend his ear to receive the message of the Lord from realized souls. The Krishna conscious movement is based on just this principle, and we are opening centers to all over the world to give everyone a chance to hear the message of Lord Krishna in order to go back home, back to Godhead. This I specifically wanted to put this point here. Because this is the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. If we all have this wonderful congregational activities, a big thanks to Bandhu Baladev Prabhu and Revati Ratnangi Mataji for organizing this entire month of Srimad Bhagavatam, because this is our goal, because this is mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada, that we have to hear the message of Lord Krishna and his devotees and try to connect with Krishna in devotional service, serve Krishna in devotional service. So beyond that, he is insisting furthermore to say that, my dear princess, in the form of a prayer, I have delineated the yoga system of chanting the holy name. So here Prabhupada is saying, so chanting is not new. As I mentioned earlier, this particular process or this particular katha happened in Satya Yuga, right? So this comes from Satya Yuga. And he says that this prayer was spoken by Brahma, who is the master of all creators. And the creators, headed by Bhrigu, were instructed in these prayers. And when all the Prajapatis were asked to procreate, then they said, you have to chant these verses and then please the Supreme Personality of Godhead and become completely free from all ignorance. And then you can create different types of living entities. So can you imagine? We are so fortunate that what the progenitors, the Prajapatis, who wanted to receive, who had received this for procreation, we have received it. So if someone, like many times we see Garbhadan Samskara, if someone really wants to purify oneself before they have a child, this is wonderful to read. If someone, if our goal is to go back home, back to Godhead, Lord Shiva is saying, yes, here, the last one, a devotee who rises early in the morning and with folded hands chants these prayers sung by Lord Shiva and gives facility to others to hear them, certainly becomes free from all bondage to fruitive activities. So this is the speciality of this particular beautiful Gita that is sung by Lord Shiva. He's saying a devotee of Lord Krishna whose mind is always absorbed in him, who with great attention and reverence chants this stotra, will achieve the greatest perfection of life without delay. And he also says, he specifically mentions that although rendering devotional service and worshipping the Lord are very difficult, right? If one vibrates or simply reads this prayer, composed and sung by me, he will very easily be able to invoke the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the request is, Prahlad Maharaj is also saying, Mahiyasam Pada Rajobhishekam Nishkinchananam Navranitayavat. Without taking shelter of that pure devotee, it is not easy for one to achieve the Supreme Lord. So today we've got this wonderful opportunity to hold on to the lotus feet of the greatest Vaishnava, Lord Shiva. So let's hold on to his lotus feet, and my request is from 33 to 70 verses are Rudra Gita. So I would request all of you to chant this every single day from today, and it would make it very simple for us to get out of our bondage and please the Supreme Lord and achieve our goal. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I'm extremely sorry that I have gone beyond by 5 minutes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhu.
Thank you so much for the nice presentation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Mataji, just wanted to say that
Yes, Prabhu.
mastermind and mentor of this program is Jagan Prabhu.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Oh, sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Jagatjeev Jagannath Prabhu, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity and giving all of us this great time to glorify the Lord and to hear the glorification. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So since we have only limited time, so we
Yes,
have one query, and I would roll it into one. So one
Yes,
is
Prabhu.
that for the benefit of all the devotees, so if you can summarize the key takeaways from Rudra
Okay.
Geetham for practical application. So that is one.
Okay.
Second is that you mentioned that there are many annihilations in the beginning of your lecture. So if you can please briefly throw some light on that. Hare.
Okay, so can I do something, Prabhu? Like I see that many times there is a small Word document which goes out later because it's not a quick answer. I see that it's already 7:02, right? So can I send a document out which mentions about the annihilations that you can share with everybody? Is that all right?
Sure, Mataji. For the benefit of devotees, if you can share some key takeaways from
Yes,
Rudra
Prabhu.
Geetham for application.
We'll do that. So you're saying all of these I put on a document and send it out, right? The answer to this annihilation and the key points from this. In fact, I have the whole Word document. If you want, I can share it with you on your mail. And if someone wants, they can have it also. This is a complete summary of entire Rudra Gita with important points shared from other scriptures also. And besides that, you want me to do a small document with the summary as takeaway. Am I understanding it right?
Yeah, those key takeaways, if possible, is it possible to speak now also, it is fine, just for the benefit of everyone who is listening.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can immediately talk about that. Okay, the key points is, first point is understanding Lord Shiva. This was one major point that I felt, because many times we as devotees, when we go to Damodar Arati or any other places, we go and sometimes we probably reduce the position of great Vaishnavas, great demigods. So it is important that we understand position of Lord Shiva. And the next is, for people, whether for preaching application, this is great, where we can tell people that how Lord Shiva is reiterating and reiterating about what Brahma has said in Brahma Samhita, what different acharyas and different devotees are speaking all of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Shiva, being the supreme authority, is giving here again the position of Lord Krishna as given by Lord Shiva, which is the most important. And finally, he's saying, it is not just me. This was given to us by Lord Brahma. And all of us as Prajapatis chant these verses. And then he says, it is important for all of you to chant this verse if you want to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if truly one's goal is devotional service, then the kind request is just chant these prayers every day. Shlokas 33 to 70 is Rudra Gita. So if one can chant this every day, one will definitely achieve Krishna Prem. Focus of mind, as it is saying that we are glorifying Aniruddha. So he would be pleased to give us wonderful control of mind. And Pradyumna, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Aniruddha, we are glorifying all of them. So this helps us focus our senses and mind towards the Supreme Lord. And the topmost lesson from this entire Rudra Gita is he's saying, chant the names of the Lord. If we cannot chant these prayers, this Rudra Geetham every day, and we are busy, we cannot even finish 16 rounds, then the best thing is, Lord Shiva is saying, chant the names of the Lord. So chanting is not just Kali Yuga's process. Chanting is a process forever and ever and ever, because this instruction he gives Prachetas at Satya Yuga. So let us not take the names of the Lord to be very simple. Let us understand the value of the Supreme Personality's names, the holy names that we are chanting every day. These would be the takeaway for the day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Once again, so there is another query by Kamal Prabhu. If you can just note down, Mataji, and include in your Word document.
Function of Pradyumna and Sankarshana. Sure, Prabhu.
Thank you again, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Pranam.
This conference will now be recorded.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Tadvad Visargo Janataga Utlavo, Yasmin Pratishlokama Bhaddavatyati, Namanyanantas Yashovam Pitanya, Srimanti Gayanti Granati Sarava, Mukam Karoti Vashalam, Pangum Lande Teginam, Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande. Paramanandamadavam. Krishna Bhagavan. Hare Krishna. That was a wonderful bhajan, Shreya, and that was very inspiring for me to hear. I'm becoming very much a Rama man at this point in time. So thank you for that really beautiful bhajan. And again, it's a wonderful opportunity specifically when people have a lot of preaching opportunities and specific commitments, it becomes difficult to take time. So I felt I'm being a little pushed on this particular section. But then when we go through, take the push, go through the necessary preparation, then we realize there is so much knowledge that one gains by taking up these opportunities. The push of the devotees and the community of devotees to take up services like this is actually very close to, and it represents the push of the Guru, because of which we get more engaged in reading such wonderful granthas. So I move on to the core story. Prabhu, what's my timeline? When do I wrap?
45 minutes, Prabhu.
Sorry?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Cool. So that is okay. Hare Krishna. The very, very interesting story. This is our story in reality. Let's see how we will be able to relate to the characters here and what is being told. Earlier, Shiva was speaking about and how the Rudra Geeta was delivered to them. Such a beautiful segment. And Hare Krishna. I'm hearing some other voices there. If you could mute, it will be helpful. So what happens is when we see where the prachetas, the sons are, to see the sons having made so much progress where they are, vis-a-vis where the father is, this is where this chapter basically pitches in. When Narada sees what is the situation and the state of King Prachinabarhi, so he feels, he's in a pitiable state. Where have his sons gone? They have gone to the extent of getting the darshan of Lord Shiva, who's giving them the eternal knowledge, who actually moves them towards the presence of Krishna, describing his form, giving them such a great benediction, and they have performed fantastic austerities for 10,000 years in water, chanting this wonderful stotra that has been given to them. So after having seen this, when he sees the father, he feels, so actually Narada is the greatest bet. Bhurida Janaha, when Bhuvi Granantiye, Bhurida Janaha, these are the greatest benefactors of the world. Unlike the Narada who is depicted as the comedian in most of our Hindi films. Here is a person whose heart is going out when he sees Prachinabarhi in a pitiable state. What is the pitiable state we are talking about? We will come to that. So he narrates to Prachinabarhi. He sees Prachinabarhi engaged in karmakandi rituals and sacrifices, many animal sacrifices that are happening. And seeing that he's completely entangled in the material world with his mind, with his senses, with his wife, with his family, and unable to see beyond that. And when he's seeing that the sons have achieved such a great situation, so Narada takes pity, and then he tells him that I'm going to narrate a story to you, which is about Puranjana. Puranjana, Pura means, Maya Pura. Yes, the word Pura is a place. Puranjana, Ranjana is to live in, one who lives in the Pura. But Ranjana can also mean one who enjoys living in the Pura. So one who basically lives in the body, or one who happily or enjoys living in the body, which is not a normal state. We all understand we are not body, we are the spirit soul. So Narada sees this state and he's not very happy with it. So he addresses and tells him about Puranjana. He says Puranjana was a person of great heroic activities, and he had a friend in his younger days called Avigyata. Puranjana never really understood his friend properly, or the depth or his greatness. And though the friend was a true friend who accompanied him under various circumstances tried to give, but still Puranjana. So this Avigyata, who is this Avigyata? Puranjana is supposed to be the Jivatma, the soul, and Avigyata is supposed to be the Paramatma, the super soul. So the super soul, very few people really understand. So Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan, Vadanti Tat Tattva Vidaha. That Tattva is very difficult to understand, and Paramatma is one aspect of that Tattva. So what happened is, not keeping much company with his true well-wisher and friend, Puranjana started to look outward. And the first thing he was looking for, when the Jiva falls from the spiritual world, he's looking for a body that's going to allow him to enjoy material sense enjoyment, feel the freedom. Now you're free from the spiritual world, you're away from Krishna, so freak out, take the opportunity. So what is he doing? He's looking for a suitable place that he can live. So he's traveling all over the place, and he's not finding a suitable body yet, so he feels morose. But then when he comes to the southern side of the Himalayas, Bharatvarsha, he sees a place which is Navadware Pure Dehi. This in the Bhagavad Gita, again the Lord refers. So a southern city with 9 gates that is there. And what are the walls of the city? The walls are the skin. And the parts that are there is the hair and the other bodies. The floor of the city are made of sapphire, crystal, etc., which all basically represent the kind of material enjoyment we want to enjoy, the varieties, the colors, the shades that we want to see. And the city is also referred to as Bhogavati. So the Sharira itself, the city itself, is a source of Bhoga. So when we say Sarvartha Sambhava Deho, that we thank the parents for giving us all arthas, whether it is material artha, whether it is spiritual artha, it is all attainable by having this material body. So, and then they talk about the different arrangements, how the houses are in rows, just like the rib cage. You see the rib cages are in rows. And then the central house is where the king lives, and very close to the same central house, in the same area, is also the Supreme Lord, which is the Paramatma or Avignata here. The friend also is living somewhere close by. And there you have various places, you have various lanes where air can pass, so you can think of the intestines, the shapes of, so all of that is being described. And then he says, on the outskirts of the city was a nice lake encircled by beautiful trees and creepers. And just as when the Prachetas saw Lord Shiva coming there, so beautiful music, bees, but that's a place of peace, while this is a place of more in the mode of passion. So here, seeing that, what does it happen? Seeing that beauty, it naturally brings about one's sex impulses, one's impulses for lower impulses for sense gratification. So a beautiful description of how there is a fountain, a big waterfall, and from the waterfall there is the mist. So if you see, you may not be directly engaged in sensual activity sometime, but when you go into a place, you will see that this place is a place of sense gratification, because it's hitting you in the face. That Tattva, Rajas, Tamas, you're able to feel those. Just like that, they are explaining that the actual sense gratification in itself is the fountain. Yes? While if you will be able to see that the mist coming from the fountain is rift all over the plants and the vegetation there, and everybody who enters into that place. So all of this waterfall, all of this, and the mist represents the sexual mellows. And so even the forest animals were so engaged by the arrows of Cupid here that they didn't have time to fight with each other. Yes. So this is the place of peaceful family life, where one enjoys material. If you see, Bhagavatam is a grantha which is actually meant to really straighten us out. As Grahasthas, Bhagavatam is not a grantha that really encourages people to just be happy, peaceful in Grahastha and so immersed in it that you don't look beyond. No. The Bhagavatam is always continually giving us slap after slap, making us wake up to our actual reality. So this story is very seriously that way. So, wait for the kadwa pill. It's coming your way very soon. So even as the turmoil is created as wife and what happens is when there is a beautiful quote in Tamil, Yal Elidanbar Kural Elidanbar Tan Makkal Chol Kelado. It's a very difficult Tamil, it doesn't even enter my mouth. I don't quote these very regularly, it just came to my head. For a person who has not heard the childish prattle of his own self-born child, till that time he will say flute sounds so good, Shreya's kirtan was so good, this was so good. No. But when he starts to hear the complaints of his wife, when he starts to hear the crying of his child, oh, that sounds so beautiful. That's the entanglement that we are talking about. So, and then suddenly there he saw a beautiful woman come about. Now this is an allegorical story. Yes, there is actually no person Puranjana. The Puranjana represents the soul. And the soul, for the soul to actually enjoy the material world, soul needs an intelligence. The soul to actually apply things even on the spiritual level, the soul needs spiritual intelligence. But here is the person who is coming in as intelligence. Here is a beautiful woman. Just looking at her, everybody would be jaw drop. Awesome looking woman. Very young, which actually awakens anybody's impulse when he sees. So to say that, and specifically in the young ages, one's impulses are very, very strong. So she was accompanied by 10 servants. Who are the 10 servants? These are Pancha Karmendriya and Jnanendriyas. Yes, you have eyes, ear, nose, and sight, taste, smell, all of these. 5 plus 5, 10 servants who are coming there. So how does the intelligence function? The intelligence function using the apparatus of the 10 indriyas that are there, the senses, 10 senses. And with these servants, she is followed. No, not only that, each of the senses, each of these 10 bodyguards who are with her, they have 100 wives. Monogamy ka time nahi hai kya? No, what are the 100 wives? Because it's an allegorical story, it doesn't matter to us, does it? Each of the senses have so many different subtleties in them. When it takes to, you take fragrance for instance. One is the fragrance that comes from what is being cooked. When it is fully cooked, it's a different fragrance. When the core item, some of the elements itself are being cooked, they may not smell as good. Or the smell of food is one thing, the smell of agarbatti is something, the smell of fragrance is something else, the smell of a freshly painted room is something else. There are so many subtle varieties in them. All of them are represented by these hundreds of wives who accompany these 10 senses. So that's the senses. Then, right, to protect them from all sides is a serpent. A snake. This is not Sadharan snake. This is a snake with 5 heads. So what are the 5 heads? Here basically the 5 heads of the snake basically represent the prana, the panchavayu. Prana, apana, vyana, udana, and samana. There are 5 vayus that are there. So these 5 vayus are like the snake protecting the body. Man is asleep, but the digestion is happening, the breathing is happening. These different vayus are constantly working. Yes, something is wrong with the body, they are setting it right, they are constantly working on. So that's the beauty about this protector, this 5-headed snake. So, and utilizes the intelligence of the body to enjoy the objects. So intelligence is the central figure which makes all of this happen. And under the control of the intelligence are the senses, and under the control of the intelligence and supported by the pancha, the 5-headed snake, which is the vayus, the whole body is functioning. That's the point that is being made. And she is about her beauty, about her. So then there is a description about her breasts to say that one is attachment and one is envy. Yes, we have the dualities. We have like and dislike. So all this whole thing is an allegorical description here. So then, if one becomes a servant of the senses, then one becomes a material hero. If one actually, instead of becoming servant of the senses, he becomes a controller of the senses, he becomes Goswami. So these two difference, how we manage these senses by using the intelligence properly. So the young girl who has come here is the aspiring wife. So what happens? Puranjana, as soon as he sees, so he sees that this is an opportunity to speak to this lady and understand who she is. So one should utilize. So he says, you look like, wow. When you see a young girl and you want to woo her, what are you going to say? You're going to talk about her beauty, glorify, what a personality she is. Initially, somebody may want to say, you're looking very, actually you're looking very smart. You take it to the next step. Then you want to say, wow, you look so beautiful. In fact, you look just like Aishwarya Rai. You look here, the same ploy he's using. He's saying, you look like Lakshmi. But generally, Lakshmi goes around with a lotus in her hand. Did you throw the lotus away? Where is the lotus? So the girl is smiling to herself and she's thinking, oh, this guy has lost his head for me. Yes, she's able to see that. So searching, so he sees that. So to say, then he says, but I really doubt it. He knew very well this is not Lakshmi. This is just flattery. But that's what women like, yes, and that's what they fall for. He says, how I understand you're not Lakshmi is because I'm seeing that your feet are not touching the ground, so you can't be Lakshmi herself. But still, just as Lakshmi beautifies Vaikuntha, I want you to beautify my Puranjana, this city that I have. So these are the qualities. Then he says, so what are they looking for? What is the woman generally looking for? She is looking for Shah Rukh Khan. She is looking for Muhammad Ali, and she is looking for Narendra Modi, all in one person. I'm very famous. I'm powerful. I'm a heroic king. I have all these qualities. Oh, so this girl is enamored. Oh, so not only is he a good-looking guy, but he's famous. He's this, he's that. Put all that together. So he says, from the time I saw you, and specifically when you're so shy, you're not even looking at me, and that makes me more agitated. Look at me. Look at my eyes. These are the words of. And he says, just by looking at you, my heart is agitated. I'm lusty at this point in time. So then he says, I'm eager. Actually, what was he eager? He was eager to see Maya in her full form. So he's saying, show me your face. Show me your full form. Let me understand you in completeness. Bhaiya, this is buying yourself trouble. That's what he is doing at this point in time. So she also got attracted. Oh, he's speaking so nicely. He's a king. He's good looking. He's got a lot of fulus. There's so many things happening. So why not? What's the problem? So then there is a question and answer that's happening between them. So he says, who are you? Where were you born? All this. She says, when he's asking these questions, she says, I don't know. I don't know where I was born. I don't know, the name of the associates, all these people here. I have not really given it much thought. I don't know any of these things, which means here is an intelligence which is in darkness. The same questions, who are you? Who are these people with you? Which means Keno Ami, Ke Ami, Keno Tapatraya. What are the three modes of material, the influence of the three modes? Where do they come from? They come from the senses. When a person starts to ask these questions, his spiritual intelligence flourishes. When a person is ignorant, so it's the same woman, the wife. She is the intelligence here, being given in this example. We'll understand how intelligent the wife is also a little later. Anyway, so she's the intelligence here, but this intelligence has not flowered in the right direction. Where is it? It is only with regard to Indriya Trupti. So I'm existing in this place and I have no idea why it's going to become of me. So I've been looking for a protector like this. I'm looking for a place of residence. So These people are my friends. The snake is protecting me, but I don't know what's happening. It's my good fortune that you suddenly bumped into me in this wonderful place where the Cupid's arrows are flying all over the place. So I'm happy that I and all my friends, which is all the indriyas, so the intelligence along with all the senses is now going to be working towards satisfying you, the soul. O Puranjana, we are going to work in that direction. So please accept me. So they lived happily ever after. And then they all started running. The set suddenly appeared, and all the five senses and the 100 wives started dancing. And then Puranjana was doing a number, and all this Hindi movie, Bollywood stuff started straight away. So I desire to unite with you. So then she's saying, here is love at first sight. And then she is saying, listen, I've seen many other people, but they are not suitable husbands. Fortunately, some of them are brahmacharis, some of them are, sannyasis, some of them are vanaprasthis, some of them very seriously spiritual aspirants. Now, like, I only want a fellow like you. So that you will actually get married to me, you will get stuck with me for the rest of your life. I'm looking for somebody like you, so that a person who wants to follow pravritti marga, so that he is interested in feeding the senses, he is intelligent, that the intelligence will be giving him more and more opportunity to satisfy his senses. For that, he will do so many sacrifices and so many other things. He says, those fellows, those other sadhus that I met, they are like animals. They don't even know what is sense enjoyment. They are like other plants. Jada, there is no special ability of them to enjoy. This is the fellow that I'm looking for. You are the man. So she says, household life is so glorious, pleasing to us, pleasing to the demigods, because sahajnaha prajaha srishva. Yes, along with the yajna, all of us have been created. So when we are doing all of these activities, our forefathers, the sages, and the people in general, everybody is happy doing these things. So I'm happy that you're such a great person. You have arrived here. Now let us go, enter the city, and continue to enjoy life. So he, along with his wife, the intelligence, the Jivatma, along with his wife, now are very, very busy. Paramatma is staying right there, next to his house only. But Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. Hriddesha, it is one Desha. Within that Desha, only Paramatma is there. But he doesn't have any more time for Paramatma. He is very, very busy with his wife, later. But anyway, so they are having a wonderful time. When it's hot, they go to Switzerland, they go here, there, they have fun. When it's cold, they go to other places. Now everybody is stuck. But we will see. We will see that situation also, how you can get stuck. When in old age, everything gets stuck. You're most prone to corona. You're also most prone to many other things. We will see that there. So the two gates on the eastern side. So now they start describing what is the body and how these senses work. So out of these 10 servants, different of them took different checkposts and different gates. We told that this is Navadware Puredehi. There is Navadwara, two, Chehovya. What is left? 2 in the bottom, the genitals and the anus. So that's 8. What's the 9? How could I forget the big one there? Yeah, this is the biggest problem there. So you put these together. So there are these senses who are guarding are different of these. So they first talk about where am I? So they say the left eye and the right eye. I don't know if it has a scientific background. It just came to my mind. They say that left eye is a weaker eye, like represents the glowworm, and the right eye is like a torchlight. Avirmukhi, yes, is capable of throwing light, while Kadyota, the left one, is a weaker eye. It says clear vision comes from right eye. So basically, the two eyes are functioning in 2 different ways there. Now, the next 2 gates are called the nostrils. Yes, Saurabha, Grana Saroja Saurabhe. When Ambarish Maharaj's Navavidha Bhakti is being described, how he to Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite and he's smelling the fragrance of tulsi. Now this comes in the Kumaras when they are smelling the aroma of tulsi. But again, so Saurabha is aroma. So so there is a friend who enables. So one of the senses there who enables the smell of these. And then there is the eastern gate, which is the mouth. And the mouth has two functions there. One is apana, which is speech, and another is bahudana, which is eating. Oh, I want to have pizza. What to do? Now everything is closed. Zomato, hey, let us order something. These are two friends. So one of them is also is referred to as rasagya, one who knows taste, and another is who enables speech. So these are two functions of this dwara. So then he talks about right ear being used for karma kandiya activity, left ear being used for spiritual activity. So through the right ear, it takes one to the Pitraloka. So this nose takes us to one particular city which is nearby, outside the body. So whenever you smell something, you have one reaction. One smell is another smell, super. Yes. So how these reactions with the different cities around the different senses enable through the gates, enable the experience of these different cities. So then it says the left ear is specifically meant for oral reception on the spiritual side, which actually makes one progress towards higher planets and ultimately, finally heading towards Vaikuntha. Now, the western gates were called the Asuri, and they are the genitals, and they are a big problem. Yes, and why Asuri? Because they are meant for the Asuras. Asuras generally give a lot of importance to sexual enjoyment, and that's why you see today there's so much advertisement. Any movie, a movie cannot have enmity. Maybe a standard one, Kama and Krodha. These two things very clearly we will see. Kama being so highly depicted, it naturally carries us that direction. And what is being depicted? Just the lower mellows. So therefore it is called Asuri and meant for the Asuras. So where does it take? Gramaka. Gramya Katana Sunive. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, don't listen to all this platter. You know what this fellow did? He's having an affair with that person. This is what Stardust, Cine Blitz and all this. This is the only thing that is happening. So this is called Gramaka. Generally. And who accompanies you there? Durmada. Mother is a state where elephants, the other day for the Ramayana, this thing we sent out, elephant when it's in rut, what it does. Yes. So sinful and madness. So this is the friend who accompanies him on that journey through the experiences from the genitals that he is going to have. And then there is another gate, which is the anus. Now, the anus has two functions here. A gluttonous person eats big quantities, and when he passes, there is going to be a lot of pain. Oh, what a gross description. There is another pain that will be experienced in the anus, and that is when a person passes on. If one is materially engrossed and has not spiritually attained, then the jiva will pass through the anus. So at that time, it seems they experience great pain. So these are two types of pains that are experienced. One that takes you to hell, finally, at the end of the life, which I just spoke about, and which is called Vaishas. While Lubdhaka is the one that is coming from grief. That's a day-to-day activity. You eat something very hot, you're going to experience it next morning. You eat way too much and you get constipated, you are going to experience something else. So these are the other two dwaras. So the Navadwara is being described, how the body is being made up of, is being described here. Then he says, then with the king, always two fellows are traveling. They're useless guys. In wow, why do you call them useless? Yeah, they're blind fellows. They can't see anything. They don't perceive anything. Yes, they can't smell. They can't see. They don't have any of these capabilities. They just do whatever they are told. What are they? Hands and legs. So that is the description that is being given here. That they cannot speak or see. They are the arms and legs. But they do whatever. Ye karo. Do this positive activity. Do puja to Lord. They will do. Kill somebody. They will do. They don't have the eyes. They don't have knowledge. They go by what instruction is being given to them. So that's a very, very important point. And then he says, then he went to a private house where in the association of his wife, he was very happily enjoying for many years. Completely under the control of material intelligence. His entire life was spent in such a manner where he is fulfilling the desires of his wife. She says, give me a new car. He has to give a new car. She says, let us go on this thing. He has to do whatever. Why? Because the intelligence is directing the soul. The soul has to accompany and go wherever. The intelligence is pushing. Intelligence says, go to stock market, you go to stock. Go to mall, you go to mall. Intelligence, where the intelligence, this is the material intelligence when it diffuses in the material way. In my office, how I'm going to play politics, win over people, that is material intelligence. Yeah, these are the aspects. So then he says he becomes so enslaved to that intelligence. He drank. If she dined, sang, she cried, she laughed. He was also sitting there laughing with her, crying with her. If she walked, if she stood, he lay down, whatever. Dasanu das. Tvameva sarvam mama deva devi, like my father quoted the usual course. And then the soul is situated in the mind, and the mind is conducted by the intelligence. Only by taking the help of spiritual intelligence can one get out of this entanglement. So is this lady who represents intelligence going to be Sevon Mukha or Bahir Mukha? That's more or less the question that we are talking about here. Now, one day, what he did, suddenly he put on his shining armor, took his ratha, took his bow and arrow, got on his chariot, and accompanied by his 11 military commanders, 10 senses and the mind, he set out to a forest called Panchaprastha. Yes. What was the reason? He went there to enjoy sinful life. As if he doesn't have enough material enjoyment with his wife, he had to go out to enjoy sinful life. So what did he do? Year after year, his horses were running and he was going on attacking. What is the attack we are talking about? Here we are talking about year after year, because the horse is running in one circle. Punah punaha charvita charvananam, the same enjoyment again and again and again. And along with that, there is also a description which says that he is going on killing various animals. So it is like you can consider that as objects of sense enjoyment. Many other women and other aspects, you can consider that as where he is actually killing many other animals. So mounted on one axle, we are talking about in life, there are two wheels, yes, two wheels to a chariot. One wheel is religious activity, one wheel can be spiritual activity. It depends on, in life, always these two are going to accompany us. If we are doing even religious activity, if we try to do, sometimes there is a little sin that comes in that. That is why we say, please forgive me for all the sins that I may do, jnata, whatever. So these two things are going to constantly accompany us all the while. So there were three flags in his chariot, which represented the three modes of material nature. And then one rein, which is the mind is the rein. So you see in the Bhagavad Gita also this picture is shown. So this is the allegory from which that is also sharing the same thoughts there. And one sitting place, which is the heart. So he had two explosive arrows with which he decimated the biggest animals. Yes, whoever opposes him, he will finish, which is I and mine. If you mess with me, if you mess with anything that is mine, I will finish you. That's and the golden decoration and the chariot and the gold that he is wearing, all that basically is to show that it is in the mode of passion. So conducted by the three modes. So we were also seeing in Ramayana how Rama, when he sees Kaushalya do what Kaikeyi do what she did to him, in two shlokas, just decimated him, spoke such harsh words, had such bad intent for Rama. And when he is speaking to Kaushalya and Lakshmana, Rama is pacifying them. You think this is Kaikeyi who is doing this? Does he have the Shakti or the strength to do this? Does she ever have the intent? Had she had the intent, she always treated me equal to Bharata. I always treated her equal to Kaushalya. Why would this thing suddenly happen? So it is not her acting. She does not have the Shakti to act in this manner. It is destiny that is acting through her. Please understand. Exactly the same way we say that the three modes of material nature act through us. And here, avasham prakriter vashat. by the vasha of Prakriti. So the three modes of material nature are acting through this person. And actually, he's supposed to be a very religious man, but he's acting under the mode of ignorance. So it is almost impossible for him in the usual course to give up the association of his wife. But when sinful desires start to get into one's mind, then one even gives up one's intelligence and goes in the path of sin. So he goes in the path of sin without even caring for his wife, even telling her anything. He went woman hunting and killing many, many innocent animals. So whoever saw this, sadhus, good people, and his own friend who is always with him, he's saying, "Bhaiya, kya kar raha hai? Sunne ke liye samay nahi hai. I don't. I'm too busy. Please don't disturb me. You see that next animal is coming. You don't distract my attention at this point in time." But then one day, seeing all this, after some time, when you have unrestricted sinful activity, then you become disenchanted with that. So he went back, returned to his palace. So then what he did, he took bath, ate a nice dinner, and he dressed himself nicely, purified himself. This is like when a sinful person, after doing sin, just like Parikshit was asking Shukar, why is it that these people, after performing sinful activity, then they come purify themselves, and after that again they throw mud on their head, like the elephant, Kunjara Shaucham, like that. So here is Sunday confession. So he comes back, he is purifying himself, and he is decorating his body, he's smearing himself with sandalwood, and then he's searching for his queen. Then he said, "Where is she?" So when he's looking for her, this is also to say, you have just been indulging in sense gratification, but then you just need a short break from that. You think, no, now I'm going to give up sense gratification completely. And that's why he came back home. But as soon as he came back home, dressed himself nicely, ate enough and took enough rest, immediately the mind starts playing. So Prabhupada and the Acharyas make a mention. Therefore, a devotee should always be afraid of sinful activities. One. Second is, you take too much rest and you eat too much good food, the next influence is being captivated by Cupid. So again, when he comes back in, he wants to go meet up with his wife, get back into his usual grahastha routines. So refreshed by the association of the devotees, one may return to one's steady consciousness. Yes, that is possible. But in this case, he is not preferring to return to direct spiritual consciousness, but at least he is coming into the dharma viruddho bhuteshu. That karma, which is within the norms of dharma, he comes back into that particular spree. That is, he starts to use his intelligence a little, and again, he's practicing devout Vedic activities. So it seems that he says, I don't see. This is like a chariot without a wheel. It looks like my house doesn't have a mother, my house doesn't have a wife. Where is that woman who's saved me from great danger at different points in time? So when he asks this question, there are many of the maidservants who are there. They say, your wife is lying on the bare floor. Intelligence has been neglected. So the intelligence is lying on a bare floor. Bhaiya, if a woman, the wife specifically, is lying on the bare floor, the husband better beware. This is the second story I'm seeing. We just dealt with Kaikeyi and what she did to Dasharatha, completely decimate that family and that entire Ayodhya. What an army cannot do, that one Kaikeyi made that happen. Put the entire country to grief, killed the king, did everything. One woman lying on the floor and making a big show by which she is able to get control over her husband. That's the intelligence that we are talking about here. So the intelligence is lying down there, and then he says, I'm sorry, I didn't inform you. He's trying to speak sweet words. You are the same beautiful girl that I saw that day in that forest when we first met. At that time, I lost my heart to you, and all this dialogue. He starts to pacify her. Then Dehi tava pallava mudaram priye charushile. This is Jayadev Goswami writing in the Ashram, where Krishna goes and touches the lotus feet of Radharani. It's a different realm altogether. But here he is going and touching the feet of his wife, falling at her feet. Now, the representation here is the other side of this representation is, on one side you actually go surrender to the material intelligence, which is like surrendering to just the material activities of this world. But then you go surrender to the spiritual intelligence, that is considered surrendering to the spiritual master, whose feet when you go and touch, then you are accepted back into the community, and then you are given spiritual divyam dadati de chakshuhu. Yes, that's the function of the guru. So by touching the feet of the guru and pleasing him with execution of devotional service, as sweet words are not needed for the guru. Those who speak sweet words to the guru are, dharmadvaji. One who speaks through sweet action is what the guru seeks. So when the master accepts a servant but does not punish him for his offenses, then the servant should consider himself very fortunate. So his wife didn't punish him. So the wife is happy. I've done such a crazy thing. She's happy with me. Oh, first he was very happy. He really thought she'll let him go. Then he realized that, Bhaiya, ये ऐसे चीज नहीं है. चाकू तलवार अभी तक अंदर है, in the inside the teeth. It will come out very soon. So what happens? Then he speaks to her. So he knows Manini, and she is angry with him. So he's trying to slowly cajole her back into coming to speak to him. So he revives, speaking about reviving her original beauty, so that she comes back to her original mood and to her original beauty. Now she's lying on the floor, no makeup, no kajal, no this thing. Sometimes that's the reality, and sometimes when that happens too much, then you can't see the person without that. It becomes difficult. So here he comes and he says, I've never seen you without these cosmetics and all this stuff. So this is like trying to revive, bring back his original Krishna consciousness or his spiritual understanding, where he is encouraging his intelligence to look at the spiritual side of it. That is if we look at it. So this is an allegory. It can be taken in the positive, it can be taken in the negative case. Here, he is not engaging in the positive, he is engaging in the negative. So looking at her, he becomes morose. Then he says, yes, I went to the forest without you, but I really missed you. I have come back. Please accept me. Bewildered. Then she sees, now he's under my control. So then what she does, gets up, goes take a nice bath, has a meal, comes back, and then gives him a sweet embrace and starts the enjoyment of the material world goes on. And then he's completely captivated by the beauty of the person, loses all his senses. And then, see, after hunting, what he was doing there is sinful activity. Now what he is coming here is religious household activity when he comes here. So in the household, one is simply, if one is simply attracted by sex life, then that is a problem. The acharyas talk about this. So lying down with his wife's hand as his pillow, he is basically enjoying life and spending time. So a woman can do two things. Woman can, our intelligence can do here. So it's an allegorical story. It brings both the truths out. One is she can enliven, or the intelligence can enliven one, or the intelligence can make one mad. If the intelligence applied in the wrong direction, the intelligence can finish the person completely. So both are possible. You can actually revive Krishna consciousness or completely destroy a person. Many children, all his youthful life is already gone. Abhi Buddha ho gaya. Whenever now I see myself in the mirror, then I'm thinking, I look more and more, start to look like my father. I'm able to see that. So youth flies away like this. And then children got married, grandchildren were there. Then what's happening? Children and grandchildren start to plunder his wealth, which he is attached to. So they think, oh, they are troubling him, they're not listening to what I say, all this is happening in that state. So he's seeing that this is like saying that within the body, there are many desires. The indriyas are there. The nose is still, the mouth is still asking, feed that pizza. But bolta hu, bhaiya, doctor said, I'm having sugar, I have pressure, I'm not supposed to eat all these things. What to do? He said, no, you have to give me. Each indriya is asking separately. This old fellow doesn't know how to control how he's going to manage all of these. So then he goes to an astrologer and says, doctor told me I have this problem. Can you give some parihara? So then he says, you perform this yajna, perform that yajna. He's doing all the yajnas, whatever, and animal sacrifice, all of this he is doing. And then a Gandharva king by name of Chandavega. He came. And what is he doing? This is the king who manages time. How does he manage time? He has 360 servants with him. They are his main soldiers. And through them, every day, one servant is attacking. One day gone. Ayur Harati Vaipumsam, Udyan Astaman Chayanasal. So, all time being spent in sense gratification and this. Now, what is the five-hooded snake doing? The five-hooded snake, which is maintaining the body, the Panchavayu, is always struggling. Now, this fellow is becoming older. He's having issues, but still Indriyas are not allowing him. So, Indriya Tripti is happening. So, night is now becoming serious time for rejuvenation, trying to bring the body back to the senses are constantly asking, feed me. But the man is saying, I'm getting old, I'm not in a position. So the five Vayus are working in a big way. So at that time, Narada says he met the daughter of time, Jara, as she was searching for her husband, and she was traveling around that time. So she came, she saw Narada, she said, marry me. He said, Bhaiya, I'm brahmachari. So she cursed him, you will never stay in one space. And then he approached a Yavana king called Bhaya, who is also considered death, Yama. So she went, approached Bhaya, and he said, please marry me. You are the best among the untouchables, please accept me. It is the duty of a gentleman to alleviate the fears and show compassion to people who are in distress. Don't take that seriously. Take it with a pinch of salt. I will engage you. So then he says, listen, I'm not going to marry you, but I'm going to get you married to my brother. His name is Prajwara. Prajwara is the fever that comes to you, which goes to 107 degrees, which comes to you at the time of death. She says, you get married to him because you're a good combination. You know, when old age comes, and Prajwara is ready, waiting there. Yes, and time has already gone. The Gandharva is already attacked. Enough time has gone. Then Corona comes. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, why are you why are you talking like this? Hare Krishna. So he says, you will make a fantastic combination, the two of you, and you can really help me a lot. So accept him as your husband. So Jara, which is old age, she accepts. Now, Narada is describing, nobody is ready to, who wants to become old? Every fellow wants to color his hair, put a wig on and lipstick and smile, wrinkle-free, whatever, they buy Fair and Lovely and I don't know what. Multiple things to basically fight invalidity. So, when one is attacked by invalidity, the next thing that comes is fear. Prabhu, what to do? This naturopathy, one person is doing one course. Can I go? Can you please take me off my pressure medicine? Can you do this? Can you do that? This is fear. Fear starts to come. And actually, frankly, at this age, we start to experience those fears. I don't want to run on the staircase now. I want to keep my hand out just in case. That kind of thing. So, old age. So, what happened is which is, who is this? The Yavana king, which is Bhaya, started attacking the kingdom. So what he did, he said, you know why you're a fantastic person in my ploy? I have to go upfront attack. Before I go upfront attack, before that, I was sending my brother.
Krishna Prabhu, you're on mute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you have gone on mute. Prabhu Nanda Prabhu, you have gone on mute.
Clarification. So, and the snake has been fighting already with the Gandharvas for so long. Now, when this new attack comes, the snake is not able to do much. So, the body parts are all slowly, everything is giving away. So, Jara first comes in, and then along with that, he sends the other soldiers. Who are the other soldiers? Diabetes, stroke, pressure, stress. All of the other soldiers have also come along with Jara. They have entered the city. Enemy is already in the city. So, lost of all is beauty, intelligence, and opulence. What happens? He's already been attacked by the Gandharvas and the Yavanas, which is time, old age has come in, and various diseases have already come in. what happens at this point in time? He's not able to provide for his family. That is, intelligence is saying you do this, this. Say, I'm not able to think so fast. The senses are saying, feed me, feed me, feed me. And the genitals are saying, give me the opportunity for sexual enjoyment. Everything is asking for something. Now he is a man who is not able to fulfill any of these. So they are also opposed to him. Prabhupada says the body also becomes opposed to one. The leg is not listening to what you are saying. One leg is, no, my knees are, we need a surgery. Knees are not supporting me. What to do? My heart needs a pacemaker. All the senses are also now. So there is an attack from outside, but there is failure from within. So these are duality. Such beautiful description. I haven't seen something like that. Frankly, I read it way back. Never really entered my head. So thank you for making me go through this in seriousness at this point in time. Very, very timely and very beautiful. So they receive the strength from the body. Yes, the body, the Indriya needs senses strength from the body, but the body doesn't have the strength anymore. So at this point in time, what's happening is he becomes very, very anxious. He becomes very overwhelmed because of old age. So now, though sense enjoyment is actually tasteless, but lusty desires continue to bind him. So he's actually still attached to the family. Now what is happening because of old age, it looks like he's having to get out of this city. Enemies have already attacked. They've already come into the city. What am I going to do? I'm going to be in trouble. So if one has no information about God, then one is so afraid of going out of the body. Yes. So at that time, seeing that time is ripe, the Yavana sends Prajvara in. So Prajvara, 107 degrees fever is coming. At the same time, the other members are seeing that now there is fire. When a city is in fire, what's going to happen? Then all your relatives, bandhu, everybody will leave. Bhitihi, putra dapi dhana bhajam bhitihi. And when the Sharira is gone, then who's going to be able to? So at that time, this snake, what happens to the snake? Like when in a forest fire, what a snake will do? Snake will try to escape from the hole and just run away. Yes, because the heat is only increasing. Just like that, the five-hooded snake says, "Abhi kuch kaam ka cheez nahi hai, kuch karke fayda nahi hai." He is also trying to escape. Where can you escape? All the gates are blocked. So when you get old, your gates become blocked. Eye is not opening. You have to put liquid. Constipation, you have to eat something to. So every gate is blocked also. So you have no escape from that space. So all of them are getting roasted and burnt within in that situation. So, but still, his false conception, oh my poor wife, what are they going to do? How will my children manage? All this is still there. She will not eat without me. All of these fears are there. Agreed. When he was away from home, Puranjana actually should have been. So at that time, finally, Yamaraja comes and says, "Bhaiya, घंटी बजी, time जाने के लिए, मेरा भी time हो गया, खत्म करने के लिए." So binding Puranjana like an animal, he takes Puranjana out. And then what happens at that point in time? When he goes out, the entire city falls. City is burnt and becomes. So when somebody dies, the body becomes either ash or completely becomes dust. That's what happens in this situation. So Puranjana could not remember. All the while, he could not remember the super soul, his actual true friend. But at this point in time, he has nobody. So when his body is being taken away, all the animals that he killed are coming and poking him. Why is this story being given? Because Narada wants to wake up Prachina Barhi. That's the whole purpose. So next slide, he is born as the. I am going to take another 5 minutes, Prabhu. You should excuse me. 3 chapters, 209 pages. I'm going to take at least another 5 minutes. So please excuse me for that. So what happens? She's born in a good family. He becomes a she. Born in a good family, and then attains a good husband. His name is Malaya Dwaja. Mala means mountain. Mountain itself can be seen. On top of the mountain, there is Dwaja. Yes. So he's somebody who's a proclaimer. Proclaimer of what? Material sense enjoyment? No, he's a proclaimer of bhakti. And not only that, he's a fierce preacher. Wanted everybody to be practicing Krishna bhakti the way he did. And his daughter, they had a daughter. And that, so you see the beauty is he was doing various Vedic sacrifices, various other things. So he's Suchinam, Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Vijay. He gets the next opportunity where he becomes a she. and the she gets married to a great king who is a devotee of the Lord. So when we get to married to the devotee of the Lord, has a girl by name Krishna. Why? Because her eyes were always fixed. A girl whose eyes were very black, it says. And so the Acharya say very black means she was a very devotionally orientated girl. She was always seeing towards Krishna. That's the explanation that was given. And then he had many sons. So what he did in course of time, he gave away his kingdom to his sons for them to rule. It is also said that he didn't want to extract taxes from people because he was a very kind-hearted king. So he said, why I'm taking all this trouble? Let me focus on Krishna. So he gives the kingdom up and he goes to a place where he will be able to do Nirjana Bhajana. So actually, the whole explanation here is, what is said is the Jivatma, jo bhatka hua tha, was just working with its own independence, not listening to Paramatma. But here, the husband, who is also Same Bharta, Same Guru, Sita says this in Ramayana, and this is the Vedic dictum also. The husband becomes the Guru, and because now this Jiva has attained the right Guru, and naturally is being drawn towards the right activities along with him. So when the king decided to give up all of this, here, this lady also, which is Puranjana earlier, also gives up the world and goes along with him to do service, gives up the comfort of family life, gives up the comfort of all these comforts naturally is given up, like an advanced disciple will do when he is following his Guru. When his Guru leaves the world and says, now I have done enough, all the world management I will give to my disciples, I will go do Nirjana Bhajana, where I will just focus on Krishna. So Prabhupada makes this mention. So then, eating only fruits, their body became emaciated, and then he completely fixes his mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worships him for so many years, perfection in devotional life, and then he is able to see the Supreme Personality sitting next to him and giving him instructions. That is the situation of Malaya Dvaja. Is fully, completely there. And Paramatma has also been giving instructions to him before, but he didn't, as Puranjana did not heed those instructions there at that situation. So completely ceased from all material engagements, he actually gives up his body. So she was doing fantastic service to him right through, and like a nice disciple. So how do you actually obtain release? By following your Guru properly. If you don't, then you're going to think whether it is Vedic Karma Kanda activities or activities of your sense gratification. Between these two, your intelligence is going to shunt you. That intelligence has to be led. Karnadhara, that Karnadhara is needed for the Guru to be the leader, the captain of the ship, to take us through. So she was matted hair, doing great service, silent, unagitated, always there in the background. So she was massaging her husband's legs. So as she was massaging her legs, she was able to see the warmth is gone. So he's left the body. So understanding that she was in great sorrow, shedding tears, but then she was able to overcome it. So at that time, she prepares a pyre for him, and she's also preparing that she will be able to give up her body along with that. So just like, so she's crying and saying that you see so many rogues are there, you'll be the protector of the world. Yes, if you are not there, what is going to? So the Guru, he says, a senior Guru, what he should do, he should be ready to hand this over to his next level disciples. So Prabhupada says the Acharya establishes disappear the rogues. So just like that, when a great Guru goes, fraud Swamis suddenly pop their head up. So people have to follow the words of the Guru and the Acharya properly, so that they will not sway away from that particular situation. So when she was preparing to get into the fire, and Brahmana suddenly comes there. Now this is Puranjana himself that we are talking about here in the form in the next life when he's become the queen, whose husband is just passed on. But who is coming? The super soul, who's always been his friend, comes in the form of a Brahmana and sits next to her and talks to her sweetly and says, why are you lamenting? What is happening? Yes, is this, you are at one point you are a man, at this point you are a woman, you are going through all this. Is this you actually? I've been giving you advice all the while, but you're not, you didn't prefer my company, but you chose to be in the material world. But here you have got the opportunity. You have now been following the right guru. You have taken up. So what is there for you to lament? Yes. So after giving all this instruction, the Paramatma, if a devotee is sincere, and he will get purified in the course of his life. So then he says, you may not recognize me, but I'm your actual friend. After giving all this knowledge, saying that I've always accompanied you right through this. We have been like the two swans, Chakravaka birds who travel together in all our journeys. I've always been with you. You never even looked my side. Yes, the two birds example is given for the birds in the tree also. So living together for many thousand years in our original homes. Now, my dear friend, you have entered such a body, and the woman of material desires, you became overly absorbed in sense gratification. You forgot your spiritual identity in totality. And now that you have become purified, you will be in a position to actually see the Lord. Bhaktyatu ananya shakya ahameva vidu arjuna jnatum drashtum cha tattvena praveshtum cha parantapa. It is possible only by bhakti that we will be able to know, jnatum, drashtum, finally come to a level where you will be able to see the Lord, and tattvena praveshtum cha parantapa, you will be able to ultimately attain the Lord. So saying that for the purpose of spiritual advancement, therefore the factual method of understanding the Lord is bhakti yoga, hearing directly the pastimes. But here, through these Puranic stories and through these allegorical examples, we are given to understand that our actual purpose is to engage in devotional service. We are not this body. We should not confuse ourselves and be misled by material intelligence. Then how do we direct that material intelligence? We have to see that we have a Karnadara, we have a Guru. If we have that, then we will be able to take the right direction. And if we have, like Malay Dwaja, a Guru who actually engages, Niyunjatopi, Yuktasya Bhaktamcha Niyunjatopi, engaging his disciples, engaging one's wife in this direction, then one will attain Sadgati. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Woo! 10 minutes beyond schedule. I generally am a person who finishes on time. Please excuse me. This is not the kind of stuff I could have crunched in any earlier than this. Hare Krishna. Questions, comments, or we can wrap with this straight away.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the nice presentation, for the nice lecture. So what we will do is we will take the questions on the chat, and then we will send it to you in a separate WhatsApp message, and we will relay your responses back to them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That should be very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Again, please excuse me for being late. I generally don't plan to be late.
No problem,
Prabhuji, if you have 10 minutes time, you can stay back for the quiz, Prabhu. Every day at the end of the sessions, we'll have a quiz. It's an online interactive quiz. Yeah, if you can,
okay.
I think you can join with. We also want to see Shubha Mataji also on the screen if possible.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
There. And if you have a mobile with you on there, you can also play the quiz, Prabhu.
Oh, play the quiz. Okay, is that? Okay. Yeah, I do. I do have a fixed mobile. Let me.
He's not the
Okay.
one.
Over to Sant Gopeshwar, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sant Gopeshwar Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Can you please make me the presenter?
Yeah, Prabhu. So I am searching where is this thing. 1 minute.
It's not that screen. You are in Pooja's name, Prabhu? No, Santa Gopeshwar.
No, I am in Sant Gopeshwar's name.
Yeah. It's there. Done, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Over to you, Sant Gopeshwar Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. So I have shared my screen. So can I request everyone to please open their browsers on their mobiles, iPad, iPhone, and then browse to www.kahoot.it. And then it will prompt you for your PIN. The PIN is on the screen, 3474627. Yes, Prabhu. So we have 11 players. 13. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I can see someone has entered the pin as the nickname. So if the person wins, we won't be able to identify the person. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 19 players. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Prabhuji and Matajis can join through different devices. So there is no issue on the limit. So everyone can enjoy. The kids can also join separately. 23. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 24. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I guess you can start.
Yes, Prabhu. I can also see. I guess today we had little less attendance probably. So, okay, Prabhu. Then I will start. All the best. Hari Bol. So 10 questions. Welcome to day 8.
Join, Prabhu. Oh, start. Okay, fine.
So first question, 20 seconds.
100.
King Prachina Bharati begot dash children from the womb of Shatadruti, also known as Prachetas. So basically the question is how many Prachetas?
13.
Jai Ho. So there were 10 Prachetas, 10 children, they were called as Prachetas. Let's see the scoreboard. Jai Ho. So Shama, Prajapati, Nikunj and Ishu leading the board. Question 2. Who gave the knowledge of absolute truth to the Prachetas?
ఇది స్లో కూడా ఉందప్ప
లేదు ఈ టైప్ తో సార్ లార్డ్ శివుడు
Lord Shiva, and that was the topic about Rudra Geet. Basically the song sung by Lord Shiva. Let's see the scoreboard. Nikunj is leading. Hari Bol. Who is very dear to Lord Shiva? Jai Ho. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambho. So he's a topmost devotee, so he is automatically compassionate, or the other devotees are very dear to Lord Shiva. So Ishu is leading. True or false? 10 seconds. So please be quick. Rudra Geetham is about song glorifying Lord Rudra, Shiva. So Rudra Geetham is sung by Lord Rudra, Shiva, glorifying Lord, the supreme personality of Godhead. Jai Ho. Issue as the top. Fifth question. Lord Shiva started the instruction to Prachetas by So as Mataji has stressed, while we usually praise about, when we want to speak about Lord, we usually start with praising the Lord. So that is what Lord Shiva also did. He started by praising the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let's see the scoreboard. Issue still leading. Jai Ho. True or false, 10 seconds. Those who are interested only in the householder life, family life, and earning wealth know the ultimate goal of human life. So obviously the answer is false. They are called Grahamidis, as was mentioned in the earlier sessions. So in Grahastha, Krishna is in the center of everything. And when we only focus only, the word only, if you only focus on the householder life, we end up being Grahamidi. And that is not the ultimate goal of human life. I can see a tough fight between father and son. Nikunj and Suman. What kind of body did Puranjana get in his next life? It's female body in his next life. Sunil is leading. True or false, 10 seconds. So please be quick. King Puranjana became captivated by the beauty of a woman and almost became like her pet. Yes. So while wandering in the forest, as Prabhu had mentioned, he suddenly came in contact. He saw this beautiful woman and started staying with her for hundreds of years. And when she laughed, he laughed. When she cried, he cried. When she walked, he walked behind her, and so on. He almost ended up being like a pet. Nikunj is leading. Bandhu Baldev Prabhu is on fire. Haribol. Purana story was told by sage Narada to whom? So let us understand the nest of the story that has happened. So Sutta the Goswami is telling to Shaunak Rishi. In that story, second layer is Sukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. In that story, Maitreya to Vidura. In that story, Narad Muni to King Prachina Bharita. And below that again we had Puranjana also talking to the woman. So we had entered around 5 levels of next in this story, 5 nested stories. So let's see the scoreboard. Bandhu Baldev Prabhu is leading. Jai Ho. The last question, true or false? 10 seconds. Sage Narada compared Puranjana and Prachinabhari to be similar because both were great kings and had many children. False. It was not because they were great kings, but because they were both materially enjoying their senses. And they forgot that they are soul and not the body. So that is the reason Narad Muni, as being a spiritual master of all the living beings, he came and he started advising the king. So let's see the podium. On third we have Bandhu Baldev Prabhu. Second we have Haricharan Prabhu. Jai Ho. And the winner is Jagan Prabhu. Oh, Jai Ho. Rasarani Mataji and Kamal Prabhu are runner-ups, 4th and 5th position. Jai Ho.
Hare Krishna. I request the winners to switch on their cameras. Hare Krishna.
Interesting way.
Hare Krishna. So congratulations and thanks to everyone for the participation. So we will now go into Narasimharthi. Hare Krishna. Nanda Prabhu, are you still there?
Very much here.
So what is your feedback, Prabhu, about the quiz?
Very nice, wonderful. This Prabhu who's organized this tried many times to get some response from me, but Puranjana was actually attacking me with Chandavega and all of that. So I didn't have excuses for that, but very beautifully done, very engaging. So
yeah, we didn't realize that it was for Kahoot right after the program. So I was thinking we'll finish this and then send the questions. Really sorry that Prabhu has been following up from yesterday. We didn't send it, but the questions are very beautifully taken. Thank you very much. We really enjoyed watching it.
Questions were made by Jagan Prabhu as and when the presentation was going on, and related to Prabhu, who made the who put it on the online. So Santa Gopeshwara Prabhu, can you switch on your camera? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
One thing, Prabhu, I made the question, but I didn't tell my wife. She played the game. So please don't think that.
I suspected that when I saw Mataji on this thing. All the accolades went to Jagan Prabhu, but actually Mataji won the this thing.
I only made the quiz, but she didn't play.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Santa Gopeshwar Prabhu, thank you. That was a nice put together.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, please.
Thank you, Prabhu, Mataji, for blessing. Please bless me, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you very much.
Avyukt, are you there? Hare Krishna. Avyukt.
He's waiting.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Avyukt. Yeah, can start your Narsimharti. Hare Krishna.
Namaste te Narasimhaya Praladadadayini Hiranyakashipurakshaha Tilatanganakanaye Ito Natsimho Parato Natsimho Yato Yato Yami Tato Natsimho Keshavarika Madhamariru Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare.
Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev
Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Adi Mito Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Avyukt. Hare Krishna for the nice, sweet Narsimharti. Hare Krishna. I now request everyone to switch on the cameras. So let us chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times. Request everyone to switch on their cameras. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So let us chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So thanks to everyone. So we will all meet same time 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Pranam.